Assalamu alaikum class 7 students. Assalamu alaikum class 7 students. Muzammil, please turn on your camera. Muzammil, turn on your camera. Assalamu alaikum class 7 students. Today we were doing the magnetic field in our last lecture. Okay, this is your page number 50 of your book. Please open your books and see. You can also see on the screen. This is page number 50 of chapter number 4. Okay, we were doing the our last topic was about magnetic field. I have taught you how can we make the magnetic field. Magnetic field is very simple. When you plot a compass along with iron filings on a paper, you can see they will make some patterns. So these patterns are arranged according to North Pole and South Pole. So in that way we can say this is a north seeking pole and this is a south seeking pole. Okay, now you can see this is page number your page number 50. The next page, you can also see this was left this thing was left in the last lecture. Now if we start from page number 50, from here you can also see it is given. These diagrams show the magnetic field patterns produced when unlike poles of two magnets are brought close together. Okay, you can also see there are two different magnets. Okay, this is another magnet and this is another magnet. It has a north pole, it has a south pole. So when we bring closer to each other, you can see the force of attraction will produce among them. I have told you in the start of the lecture, when there are two different poles, they will produce a force of attraction and they will attract to each other. If they are unlike poles, so they will repel each other. So in this figure, you can say it is a north pole, it is a south pole. So they are attracting to each other. Force of attraction is being produced between these two magnets. So because of that, you can see here is a pattern of magnetic field is produced among two magnets. Okay, so this is a diagram of force of attraction between two magnets. So when unlike poles of two magnets are brought close together, these diagrams show the magnetic field patterns produced when like poles of two magnets are brought close together. But in the second figure, you can see here, this is the second figure is given. You can see this is a magnet, it has a north pole. This is another magnet, it is also has a north pole. So when these two north poles attract to each other, what will be happen? They will, a force of attraction will not produce between these two magnets. Actually, the force of repulsion will produce. So you can see they will attract to each other, but they will not attach. So their force of attraction will be removed in different directions. So this is called the force of repulsion. So in this diagram, you can see they are opposite to each other. So this is a north pole and there is a south pole. So in other magnet, you can also see it also has a north pole and this is a south pole. So these two magnets are not attracting to each other. Actually, the force of repulsion is being produced among them. So they are showing force of repulsion between two. Okay, so these two patterns in this diagram, these two patterns tells us about the force of attraction among like poles, and this is showing the force of repulsion between two different poles. Okay, so these are called unlike poles, like poles, and this is a unlike poles. I hope you understand it. Okay, now you will see there is a side box is given in your book. You also see in your book, and mark for your objective. The Earth's core is thought to contain a lot of iron. It is this iron that causes the Earth's magnetic field. We know this thing that magnetic field is produced on the center of the Earth, and we all of know that our Earth consists of three layers. The outer layer on which we move, that is called crust. After that there is a mantle, and the deepest layer of the Earth is called core. So in this box on information is given that the Earth's core is contain a lot of iron, and definitely magnets attract to iron. So because of that they produce a magnetic field around the Earth. Now you will see the another information. The Earth's magnetic north pole is about 700 miles from the geographic North Pole. The Earth's magnetic North Pole. The Earth's magnetic North Pole is about 700 miles from the geographic North Pole. Now there are two different things is given. First is magnetic North Pole and the second is given geographic North Pole. If we see the figure, if we observe the directions, we can see in the center, this is east, this is west, this is south, and this is north. Okay, so the North Pole, okay, this is south and this is north. So the North Pole which comes on the magnetic field in the center of the night, it will be lies over here, and this is showing the North Pole which is present on the magnetic field. So this magnetic North Pole is 700 miles apart from the geographic North Pole. Geographic North Pole is that which is showing on the directions of the which we can see on the directions of the Earth. Means this is east, this is west, this is south, and this is north. Okay, I hope you understand. So this information is about the Earth's magnetic iron pole is about 700 miles from the geographic North Pole. Now come to a theory for magnetism. I hope from this information your topic magnetic field has been ended. Now we will discuss a theory for magnetism. In the start of the chapter, I have told you magnetism is a mysterious force which is produced between the magnets and among the magnets. Now we will discuss what is this theory, and we also discuss this theory with the help of different experiments. Experiments show the properties of magnets and magnetic material, but they do not explain what is happening. This is true experiment when we do different experiments to find the magnetic force between two magnets and among the magnets. So they can show us the magnetic material, they can show us the magnetism among them, but they never explain how this process is happening inside the magnet. Okay, so a theory is needed to explain the effect of magnetism and to help us use it. So which thing we needed? We need a theory. We need a theory is needed to explain the effects of magnetism, okay, which tells us about the infusion of magnetism on the substances and to help us use, okay, how can we use it for in our daily routine life. Okay, and you can also see the diagram. When a magnet is broken, all the pieces are complete magnets. What is happen when it is a complete magnet? When a magnet is broken, so you can see we have broken this magnet into three pieces. So each piece will convert into a complete magnet. How it will be called a complete magnet? It will be called a complete magnet when it has both two poles, now North Pole and South Pole. In this figure you can see it is a complete bar magnet. It has a North Pole and it has a South Pole. Then we have broken this magnet into three pieces, 1, 2, 3, and you can also see the broken pieces again convert into complete magnet. It is a North Pole, it has a South Pole. This one also has north pole and has a south pole, and this one also has a north pole and a south pole. So in this paragraph we can understand that experiment which we do to find the magnetism force. We can do different experiments, but these experiments cannot tell us, cannot explain actually what is happening inside the magnet. So for this, to find the answer for this thing, we have to need it to explain the effects of magnetism and to, which help us how can we use that. So to support this theory, which things we are required, supporting the theory, which things we have required. A magnetized steel rod has a N pole at one end and a S pole at the other end. So to find this answer, how can we support the theory? We need a magnetized steel. We need a magnetized steel rod, okay? And its one is N pole and its other end is S pole, okay? So at the other end, if the rod is snapped into, each piece has its own north and south pole. If the rod is snapped into, if we break them into two pieces, what will be happen? Each piece has its own, each piece has its own north and south pole, okay? And next one is that breaking it into smaller and smaller pieces produces smaller and smaller complete magnets. I also explained this thing in with the help of this diagram. It is a complete magnet. We have broken into three pieces. Each piece contains north and south pole both. It means it convert into complete magnet. If we further broken them into smaller pieces, each and every small piece of these magnets will convert into complete magnet. And I told you a complete magnet is always a complete magnet becomes when it has north pole and south pole both in them. Okay, so how can we supporting the theory means how can we support our theory? Okay, how can we use it? So its answer is simple. Okay, every magnet has a north pole and south pole. If you take a magnetized steel rod, and we all of know okay, this steel rod has north pole and south pole inside it. So if you broken this rod into smaller and smaller pieces, so what will be happen? Each and every small piece will convert into complete magnet. It means each and every small piece will have north and south pole in them, convert into and will convert into complete magnet. Okay, now we will go to the next page. Okay, now you will see on the next page. This is page number 52, and this is called the magnetic induction. Means in this topic we will study about the induced magnetism. What is this induced magnetism? When a piece of iron or steel is placed near to a magnet. When a piece of iron or steel is placed near to a magnet, the magnetic domains lines up and it becomes magnetized. This is called induced magnetism. It's a definition of induced magnetism. What is induced magnetism? When a piece of iron or steel is placed near to a magnet. If you take a plain piece of iron or steel, means it is not magnetized before. So when you take near to a magnet, what will be happen? The domains present inside it, they will arrange themselves, and because of that, that magnet will be magnetized. So this process is called induced magnetism. Okay, the diagram show the induced pole closest to the magnet. Magnet's north pole and north pole is a S pole. This explains why magnets attract iron and steel. So this explains us how they attract to iron and steel. You can also see when the iron is pulled away from the magnet, it loses its induced magnetism. It was a temporary magnetism. So keep in your mind, we always make magnets with the help of iron or steel. Iron is a soft magnetic material and steel is a hard magnetic material. So once we make magnet with the help of iron piece, it will be a temporary. Why it will be a temporary? Because when the iron is pulled away from the magnet, it loses its induced magnetism. It was a temporary, so it is called a temporary magnet. However, when steel is used, it keeps some of the induced magnetism and becomes a permanent magnetism. But when a magnet hold the properties of magnetism inside it, so that magnet is called a permanent magnet. So this is the difference between two. In other words, we can say we can divide magnets into two ways. What are these two ways? One is called temporary magnet and the other is called permanent magnet. Temporary magnets are those magnets which hold the magnetic properties for some time. So they are called temporary magnets. And what are permanent magnets? Permanent magnets are those magnets which hold the properties of magnetism inside them for a long time. So they are called permanent magnets. Okay. So the example of temporary magnet is iron, and the example of permanent magnet is steel. Now you can see these figures given in your book. Okay, you can also see these figures. First is that it is started from it is about magnetic induction in steel, and the other one is magnetic induction in iron. Okay, so it will start at this is the first diagram, and it is about magnetic induction in iron, how iron becomes magnetized and how it loses properties. So you can see it is a simple magnet. It has a north pole and south pole. Okay, and definitely what is happening here, it is iron loses induced force. Okay, and then iron has induced force and then they moved away. So what is that? In this magnet, it has these induced force inside it, and after that what will be happen, iron loses the induced force and then it becomes a and it will become a temporary magnet. Okay, so it will move closer and then it will become a temporary magnet. I told you in this slide, okay, when the iron is pulled away from the magnet. Okay, so when the iron is pulled away from the other magnet, so what will be happen? It loses its induced magnetism and it will be converted into a temporary or simple magnet. Okay, now the second figure which is given, magnetic induction in steel. I have told you iron is a soft magnetic material and a steel is a hard magnetic material. So what will be happen inside the steel magnet? So obviously, first of all, it has a south pole and north pole. So steel stays magnetized. Okay, steel has induced force, so it will not lose its property due to another magnet. So you can see it is a magnet. It has a south pole and north pole. Okay, and steel stays magnetized. It still remains magnetized, and when it takes okay. When it take near to the another magnet, so what will be happen? It will never loses its properties. So because of that, it will remain closer to the magnet. So it will remain close near to the magnet. So this is called a steel magnet, and this steel magnet has closed its properties inside it. Okay, so you can see what is happening inside the magnet. This is a steel induced magnetism. This is a steel induced magnetism, and steel is a hard material, so it remains always induced magnetism. So it has remain properties of magnetism inside it. So you can see manganese induction in steel. Steel is a hard material. It can hold magnetism properties in it for a long time. It is a permanent magnet, and iron is a soft magnetic material. It can hold properties of magnetism inside it, but when another magnet come closer to this magnet, it will lose its properties. Okay, so I hope you understand the process of induced magnetism. I will explain to you again. What is induced magnetism? When a piece of iron or steel is placed near to a magnet, the magnetic domains lines up and it becomes magnetized. So here we are talking about the domains. The domains are present inside the magnet. So when we take near to another magnet near to them, they will arrange themselves. This thing we will discuss on our next page. Now we will discuss the hard and soft magnetic materials. So what is different between hard and soft magnetic materials, and why they are called hard and soft magnetic materials? So discuss. Iron is a soft magnetic material. It is easy to magnetize, but it loses its magnetism easily. Iron is a soft magnetic material. Underline in your book for your objective. It is a soft magnetic material. It is easy to magnetize. This is very easy to magnetize it, but it loses its magnetism easily. But it can lose its magnetic force easily. How can it lose? This makes it useful when a temporary magnet is needed or where the direction of the magnetism has to be changed quickly. So this thing is very useful. It can lose its property as easily, because sometimes and at some places we need a temporary magnet. So when we use a temporary magnet, okay, so it will help us, and it also help us for the to find the direction of something very quickly. Second is that steel. Steel is a hard magnetic material. Steel is a hard magnetic material. Hard means steel means it is a very hard magnetic material. Why? Because it is more difficult to magnetize than iron, but does not lose its magnetism easily. So this is a truth, that this is very difficult to magnetize the piece of steel, but once it was magnetized, so then it is very difficult to lose its properties. Steel, iron is very easy to turn into magnetic force, to turn into magnet, and it can lose its properties very easily. But steel is opposite to iron. It is hard. It is very difficult to convert it into it is very hard to convert it into magnetic field, and it can a magnetic field, but it is very simple magnetic field, and it is very difficult to lose its magnetism property. So steel makes good permanent magnets. So this is true. Steel makes good permanent magnets. So I hope you understand the difference between two. What is the difference between two? Hard and soft magnetic material. Iron is a soft magnetic material, and steel is a hard magnetic material. I hope you understand it. Now we will discuss next topic, making a permanent magnet. How can we make a permanent magnet? How can we make a permanent magnet? This answer is where this process is given here. A piece of steel A piece of steel can be magnetized by stroking it with a magnet. A simple way to making a permanent magnet is that we can make a permanent magnet. A piece of steel can be magnetized by stroking it with a magnet. Okay, if we take another magnet and we stroking it, if we hit it again and again, then it can convert into a permanent magnet. However, a better way of making a permanent magnet is to place the steel inside a coil of wire. So what is the difference between two? To making a permanent magnet is to place the steel inside a coil of wire. So when an electric current flows in the coil, strong magnetic poles are induced in the steel. You can understand this process with the help of a diagram given in your book. Most permanent magnets are made in this way. You can see this is a steel magnet, and we all of know steel magnets are also called permanent magnet. It has a north pole and south pole, and it is coiled by electric wires. Okay, so when electricity will pass through, okay, these are the wires, they are connected with a battery. So when we pass through electricity through it, electric current through it, so you will see that after some time this steel magnet, permanent magnet, will convert into electromagnet. And I have told you on the first page of this book that electromagnets are play a very important role in our daily life. We can use these electromagnets in our headphones, we can use in our electric drills, we can use in our cell phones, we can use these electromagnets in our doorbells. And the important characteristic of electromagnet is that we can turn on and off the electromagnet. Okay, so I hope you understand it. And the next topic is about electromagnetism. So better please open your books and see in your books. What is electromagnetism? This is another topic in your book. It is given on page number 53. I will not go in detail. I just give the introduction of electromagnetism. What is electromagnetism? So electromagnetism, actually, if a compass is held near to a wire carrying an electric current, the compass needle will move, showing that the wire has a magnetic field around it. This effect is called electromagnetism. Definitely in this chapter we have discussed different things. If we want to find the mysterious force magnetism among the magnets, we use two different methods. If we bring a same poles near to each other, they will produce the force of repulsion. It means they are not attractive. It means they will forward in different directions. And on the other hand, if we bring unlike poles near to each other, the force of magnetism will produce, and they will completely attach to each other. So you can say electromagnetism. I have told you that when we want to find the magnetic field, so magnetic field is that when we bring a compass near to the iron fillings along with the bar magnet, they will arrange themselves according to the north pole and the south pole. So exactly like this in electromagnetism, what will be happen if a compass is held near to a wire carrying an electric current, the compass needle will move, showing that the wire has a magnetic field around it. So this fact is called electron. If we want to find the electromagnetic force, so its simple method is there. When we bring near a compass, when we bring a compass near to electric wire, the electric wire will begin to move. It will arrange their circle. So this effect will tell us about the electromagnetism. Okay. So electromagnetism can be investigated using iron fillings and plotting compasses. The diagram it consists of concentric circles. Concentric circles means there are many circles and all circles have the same center. So circles with the same center around the wire. The direction of the field is clockwise when viewed in the direction of the current, positive to negative. If the current is reserved, then the magnetic field also reverses. The field is strongest close to the wire and gets much weaker as you move further away. If the size of the current is increased, then the magnetic field gets stronger. So answer is very simple. Uh, you can also find the, you can also understand this topic. I'm telling you about the uh, electromagnetism force. Okay, when you take a compass and when you bring it near to an electric wire, this electric wire will move and arrange in the circles, and these all circles are concentric, means they all have a same centers, so they are concentric. So the direction of the field is should be clockwise, not a anti-clockwise, it should be clockwise, and the current will move from positive to negative. Another important thing, and if the current is reverse, if the current is reverse, the magnetic field also reverses. So if the current is increased, the magnetic force should be increased. So it is a process. The field is strongest close to the wire and gets much weaker as you move further away. So the size of the current is increased, then the magnetic field gets stronger. So this was the introduction of electromagnetism. I hope you understand the today's topic. Okay, beta. If you have any problem, if you can't understand anything, you can ask the question. Now your lecture has been ended. Thank you so much. If you have any issue, you can ask the question. Beta, any question? Ji Kaleem Raza, Muhammad Ashraf, Musaf. Beta, any question regarding the lecture? Do you have any issue? Beta, no answer.
नहीं टीचर कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है, समझ आ गया है.
Who is talking? Who is talking? जी बेटे मुसफ और बाकी लोग जो वैसी क्लास छोड़ के चले गए हैं, they are not interested. Yes, Muzammil told me that you have understand the today's lecture. What about Musaf and Kaleem? Where is Kaleem? Kaleem, do you understand the answer? Do you understand the today's lecture? It means that everything is clear to all of you. You have no question. Tomorrow we have first class of science. So please sit with your books and hold pencils in your hands and turn on your cameras. Okay.